All right. So we're getting ready to start a new unit in math. And for this unit, I kind of want to do these pages with you. You don't have to do these pages, but I want to show you what we're going to be doing through this unit, okay? So first, they're going to be looking at the base 10 blocks. So we have the 10 sticks and the 1s cubes that we'll have to count and get the number. We're going to be comparing numbers, so greater than, less than, or equal to. And then we're also going to be doing some skip counting, okay? And as we know, skip counting prepares us to do what? I'm hoping you said multiply. All right? So, here we go. So this first one, I know this one over here is kind of hard to see because of the glare from the projector. So when we get to that one, I'll hold my hand like this. Hopefully it'll be a little easier to see. So first one, we're going to count the 10 cubes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 3 1s. So what number would that be? You said 83. You are correct. All right, so let's look at this guy. So I have 10 in each one of these, so there's 2 of those. And then I have 7 small cubes. So what number do we have there? If you said 27, you are correct. All right, so down here we're going to be comparing. Remember, when it's opening this way, when the big number is on this side, on your left side, that's greater than. Okay? When it's opening this way, that means the little number is on this side, so it's less than. And of course, then we have the equal to. All right? So let's look at number 3. Number 3 is 27 and 36. Which one is bigger? So 36 is bigger. So with our signs, we always know that it has to open up to the bigger number. Because as I've told you before, when you're hungry, you want a lot to eat. So pretend that that's a mouth, and it's going to eat the bigger number. So that means your arrow is going to go this way. But that doesn't help us with reading it out loud. But since 27 is smaller than 36, we would say 27 is less than 36. Okay, so that's the less than sign. Number 4, we have a 15 and a 15. That one should be fairly simple. That's the same number, so it's equal. Number 5, we have 45 on the left and 29 on the right. Remember, our mouth wants to eat the bigger amount, so it's going to go this way. But again, that doesn't tell us how to read this out loud. But if you remember that 45 is a bigger number than 29, you're going to say 45 is greater than 29. Okay? Number 6, we have 12 on the left, 20 on the right. Which way are we going to go? We're going to say 12 is less than 20. All right? Down here we've got Tia. Tia's counting some shoes in her closet. Sometimes we can't find both shoes, but she's counting pairs, so she must know where both of her shoes are. Each pair has 2 shoes. Show how she counts. So what's she going to count by? She's going to count by 2s. So we're going to say she's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So she has 5 groups of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pairs of shoes. All right? So that's what we're going to be looking at in this chapter of math. Okay? Now we're going to hope that this works. Yay, it did. All right. We're not going to do this back side because it's not going to help us a whole lot. Okay? So we're going to move right on in to our... Whoa. It's dinging at me. I don't know what's dinging at me. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Ah! Okay. So this page right here is the first page you're going to be working on. And in this chapter, for this page, it wants you to write in the hundreds chart. This is really just a hundreds chart. Okay? This will help you if you need help with the counting from one to another. If you need help counting by 2s or 4s or 6s, whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and fill that in. I'm not going to spend the time helping you fill that in right now. I think everyone should be able to do that. If you need help, I'm sure mom or dad can help you, or grandma or grandpa, whoever's helping you today. So let's move on to page 296. So on this side, we have more of our cubes, okay? Remember when we have the big blocks, the big squares, those are hundreds, okay? If you have one of these, that means there's 10 of these sticks, okay? So 10 groups of 10 is 100. But also, when we have individual squares, those teeny tiny squares, there has to be 100 of them. So there's 100 ones, 10 tens, or 100. All right, so let's do this one together here. So I have this square right here. So how many hundreds is that? There's only one, so it's 100. How many tens would be in this square? That's right, there are 10. And if we chop this up into those little tiny cubes, how many of those little tiny cubes are we going to have for ones? Well, there's going to be 100 of those. Okay? Let's look at this one. Here we have 1, 2, 3 squares. Okay? So how many hundreds is that? How many of these squares do we have? So that would be 3 hundreds. If we chop it up into the sticks, how many sticks do we have? Well, we know that there are 10 sticks in one of those. So we could count by tens. We could say 10, 20, 30. So there would be 30 tens there. All right? And then when we go to the hundreds, remember we're going to chop it up in those little bitty cubes. Each one is 100, so we would say 100, 200, 300. So we have 300 ones. All right? Now down here at the bottom, it's a little different. It's a little different. It wants to know how many tens and hundreds there are. So they gave us the 500 ones. So they're giving us this little number here, the little big cubes. We have to find the bigger numbers. So I want you to look. What number's at the very front when we're talking about 500 ones? We see a 5, right? Well, if there's 500 of these, how many of these are there going to be? There will be 50. Notice we drop off a 0 each time we move over a spot because we're getting smaller. When I say smaller, I mean we're getting more compact, more smooshed up together, okay? So if we move over, if there are 500 ones, 500 of these little bitty squares, how many of these are there going to be? There will be 5, okay? Again, same thing down here. We're going to start with 600. If there's 600 and they're all kind of spread out, and we kind of want to make them a little more organized, we're going to put them in columns there. We're going to put them in the 10 sticks. How many tens are we going to have if there's 600 of these little ones? Remember, we're going to drop off a 0. So this time there's 60. And if there's 60 of these guys and we smoosh them together to make a cube, how many of these cubes are we going to get? And there will be 60. Good. So is 100 the same as 10 tens? Is it? It is. And you know that because when we squish them together, they're the same amount. It doesn't matter if they're cut apart or spread out or smushed together. It's still the same number. Okay, it's still the same number of cubes. So that's what we're looking at here. We're going to be working with the hundreds, tens, and ones cubes. Ooh, that made a big mess on the board. All right. So this page, 297, this is a page that I want you to go ahead and do on your own right now. It says independent practice. I want you to do that. Pause the video, all right? Because I want you to do this on your own, and then when you start the video back up, you'll be able to check your answers, okay? So go ahead and give it a pause, and then come back in to check your answers, all right? So here are the answers you should have had. There were 6 squares here, so that means there's 6 hundredths. So there's 6 of these squares. If there are 600 squares, that means there's 60 10 sticks, okay, just the sticks. That also means there's 600 little bitty cubes. If you want to think of it this way, you could think of it as pennies, dimes, dollars, okay? It takes 600 pennies to make $6, okay? Same kind of thing. Crazy, huh? Number 6, there were 4 squares, so you should have 4 hundredths, 40 tens, and 4 ones. Number 7 has 5 squares, so you have 5 hundredths, 50 tens, and 500 ones. Down here's where you had to write them going the other way. So this way, they get spread out, okay? When you go this way, they're getting smushed together. So if you have 800 ones, so if you have 800 of those little bitty cubes, you're going to only have 80 sticks, all right? And with those 80 sticks, you're going to end up with 8 of these squares. So number 9, you should have had 70 and 7. Number 10, that was a little bit trickier. They cut out one whole section there. So this one went from 500. So if you know that there's 500, you know that there's ones, okay? That means ones. So if there's 500 ones, how many tens would that be? Well, remember, we drop off a 0. So there's 50 tens. Going over here to number 11, it says 200. Remember, those are ones. So if it's 200, how many ones are there? There's 200. 400, how many hundreds is that? Well, there's only 4. And then you have 300, and it wants to know how many tens are in 300. There are 30. All right, so hopefully that helped a little bit, and you got those right. Remember, this is all kind of a review from last year, so this should be fairly quick to do, okay? On this page, you're going to have your problem solving. Again, you have to show me your work, okay? You have to show me something. So Sarah has a collection of coins. She puts them in 30 piles of 10, okay? Draw a picture, all right? Show me something. I want to see how you figured it out. Same here. Kenny places his rock collection in 20 groups of 10. Show me a picture. Down here on your brain builder, I think you can do this one. It's going to take some thinking, but I think you can do it. And, I can't see. I think it says Andreas counted 270 red leaves and 30 green leaves on a tree. How many tens does he count? That kind of goes back to the first page. It's a two-stepper. First, you got to figure out how many leaves he saw in all. Then decide how many tens there are. Down here, I do want you to do the right math because it's asking you how many ones are in 400s. So in those squares that we have, the big ones, how many little bitty cubes are in 4 of those? And tell me how you know. I think I just did. All right, and then, whoa, that jumped way ahead, didn't it? So then you have your homework page, which is just like we started with. And then the back is more of your word problems. Make sure you do number 11. All right, don't forget it. All right, again, if you have questions, have someone contact me.